This is Louis, and I'm gonna make this ad quick and clean. If you wanna support me, head on over to Play Asia and buy something. You don't wanna support me there? Head on over to J-List and buy something. You don't wanna support me there? Then head on over to Patreon and support me. You don't wanna support me there? Then fuck yourself. Links will be in the description.
So this is Louis, and it's quite early in the morning, 7 a.m., but I decided to try to record a commentary that is just going to be a very basic response to this tweet that Fox from the West, who's a user on Twitter that's more known for being a Twitter user than he is a small-time YouTuber, but he is a small-time YouTuber. He tweeted this tweet out making reference to the fact that one of the issues with the LGBT community, as it's put, although I consider the T to not really be part of the LGB. I think that they are separate, and I think they should be separate because they are separate issues, and the T is a lot more complex of an issue. But if we're just going to accept the LGBT community as it is, I do think that Fox, in this tweet, is correct in his assessment of what certain people, and I can say that I am included in that group, what certain people take umbrage with the LGBT community. And that is the fact that despite decades of pleas to be treated as everyone else and to be seen as just like everyone else, those of us that have been willing to be charitable and be generous and to do just that have been scorned when we then say, okay, well, can you actually act normal now? It's no longer about who you can love and whether you can be normal or not. It's whether you're actually going to be normal. America has accepted you. Check the polls. America sees you as just like everybody else. But the problem is that with the LGBT people, they want to be normal, but also want to be on the fringes of society. The fact is, and I say this to more so shoe on head than the anti-skeptic community who took umbrage with Fox here, because they're all fucking pieces of shit and can suck my cock forever. So this isn't about them. It's more so about Shu, because of her ridiculous commentary on this. And the fact that there are people in our society now that are on the fringes of society and are treated as abnormal. Punks are treated as abnormal. Furries are on the fringes of society and are treated as such. LARPers are on the fringes of society and treated as such. There are people in every society that are on the fringes of it that are treated as abnormal, and it is because they are, by every definition of the word, abnormal. That is not to say that they are lesser than anybody else necessarily. It doesn't mean they don't deserve equal rights. It means that they are, by their appearance and their behavior, abnormal. Now, that's just something that Shu is going to have to accept, because so long as there are social norms, and they're not going away, and they serve a purpose so they should not go away, but so long as there are social norms, this is going to be the case. That anyone that looks like this guy, who 100 years ago would have been a fucking circus freak for P.T. Barnum, that is just a fact of how things are. That if you are a freak, you will be treated as a freak. It's not because of some fucking ailment that's been done to you. No, you've made yourself a freak. You've chosen to dress and look like a freak. So you will be treated as a freak, because you are one. You are abnormal. You appear to any regular person to be abnormal, and you are going to be treated as abnormal. That's what Fox was fucking saying. The fact that you want to reject that is your fucking hang-up. You know, do I need to read you the definition of social norms? I understand that you want this to be besides the point, but no, I'm sorry. I am more than willing to say that a gay person is just like me in every single way, with the exception of I'm straight, they're gay. but they actually have to fucking abide by some minimal beauty standard and act in accordance to social norms within our society. If they step out of bounds with social norms, if they break the rules that have been agreed upon in society, unwritten rules, if they break those rules, they will be treated as abnormal. And that's not going to change just because people want to throw around words such as homophobic and blah, 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 everything else, okay? I don't really know if people have noticed this, but those words and those arguments and all that limp-wristed fucking whinging isn't working anymore. You know, I feel bad for Fox getting hounded off the internet. You know, I'm sure that it would have been very frustrating for him to be in the situation that he was in. But I wouldn't have backed down from this position, because I don't think he's wrong. I think the people that are arguing against him are fucking wrong, because this is an issue. And I'm just going to say this, as it relates to the whole drag queen thing. I don't like it. I don't like the drag queen thing. It is, from my perspective, fucking degenerate. And I gave an example on my own channel with this kid that was being pimped around by her communist parents, by her ideological parents, in like actual drag queen shows, and it's a fucking little boy. Okay? If you want to argue to me that drag queen bullshit is not fucking degenerate, well then you need to clean up shit like this. This kid is celebrated by gay magazines and stuff like that. So this is something that, as it relates to the LGBT community, they need to clean up if they want to be accepted as normal. Because so long as I see the prostitution of children celebrated by these people, I'm not going to fully embrace them. I'm more than willing to give them equal rights, and my ideal is that of a normal homosexual couple. Normal in every definition of the word. That should be the ideal. That should be what is chased after, is to be treated just like everybody else. But so long as these people engage in fucking degenerate behavior, act as degenerate, act as abnormal as possible, they are going to be treated as such. The best thing from my perspective that could happen to gay people in our society is for all of this, all of the pride marches, all of the drag queen shit, for all of that to just go away. The fight is fucking over. You won. Have it be done with. You see so much of that today with black people whinging about the fact that they aren't accepted within society. And then it's like, then you act abnormally. You speak abnormally. You dress abnormally. You try to be on the fringes. And yet you complain that everyone should be accepting of you. It's the same shit. It's like, no. You actually have to fucking dress normally. You actually have to appear normally. You actually have to speak normally. And I'm not the one setting those rules. They just are the rules. If you go into a job interview speaking black vernacular and you sound like a fucking retard, or if you show up to court, as it was the other day, it was a couple white guys and a black guy. They showed up to court dressed inappropriately. And they went up against the judge that was not having it. So the judge says, get the fuck out of the court, go home, put on some normal clothes, and respectable clothes, and come back. Now, I'm sure that Shu would take umbrage with that too. Oh, it's not right. They should be able to come to court however the fuck they want to dress. But no, I'm sorry. Okay? There are rules in society. There are norms in society that people should abide by. We don't live in a perfect libertarian nation or libertine nation where people can act and speak and dress and everything else the way that they, however the fuck they wish. That's not the society that we live in, and I'm glad that that's not the society that we live in. We should have some minimal standards of how people can act, dress, and everything else. It's good to have some minimal standard, because if we don't have any kind of minimal standard, then we have shit like this. Then we have shit like this kid in drag, where it's disgusting. And I'm supposed to just sit here and pretend that it's not disgusting. The thing that I'm speaking to here is also one of the things that we're warned of by conservatives, who said that ushering in equal rights for gays well, they didn't exactly make this argument. They went way too far, saying like, oh, well, we're going to legalize pedophilia. We're going to legalize bestiality. Like, I definitely still don't agree with that perspective, but they were right in terms of the conflict that this would bring in terms of social norms. That you want equality, but you want to be more equal than everybody else, where you don't want to be, you want to be treated the same no matter how you are. No matter how much of a freak you are, no matter how well you fit within the framework of a P.T. Barnum fucking circus freak, that you think despite that you should be treated just like everyone else who's abiding by social norms. And I'm sorry, that's not the case, and it shouldn't be the case. One of the problems I think we have in modern society, especially with women, is how willing they seem to be to just reject any notion of a beauty standard and of social norms. And then they wonder like, oh man, why does no one want to fuck me? Why does no one want to fuck me? I'm 30 years old and I'm desperate. Why does no one want to fuck me? And it's because, you don't abide by the social norms and the beauty standards of our society. And because you don't do that, you're not going to get laid. You're not going to fall in love. You're not going to have anybody. You're going to be a fucking cat lady. That's just how things are going to be with you because you are a fucking freak. You're a freak. And if you want to choose to change that, if you want to choose to look as normal as can be and try to fit within society itself, guess what? You're going to have a lot less resistance to you. If you don't act and look like a fucking degenerate, you're not going to be treated as such. It's that fucking simple. And I think that that's how it should stay. That's how it should stay. Because, like I said, my ideal for gay people, and I think their ideal should be as well, because I know that there are gay people that definitely agree with me. The ideal should be to look and act as normally as possible, and in return from society, be treated as normal. Be accepted as normal. I am more than willing to accept gay people as normal. And I think the majority of Americans are there as well. They want to accept gay people as normal. They have the rights as same as everybody else, and they will be treated equally if they abide by the rules that everyone else follows. If they reject those rules, if they look like freak shows, that's how they're going to be treated. You have to choose on the fringes of society or part of society. Being an average person. Okay? You can't be special and unique snowflakes while also at the same time being treated equally and average, like the average person. You have to choose one. You're not going to get both. You can whinge on Twitter and get fucking people like Shu to cover you, but guess what? Society isn't changing in that way. It's not going to. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't have to change for you. And I'm not going to change for you. So, those are the choices you have. Pick one. Pick to be the freak, or pick to be normal. Those are the only two options you have. You have no third option. Doesn't exist. And like I said, I think the option every gay person should choose in this country is to be normal. Be a normal body shape, dress normally, have a normal appearance, be as normal as you possibly can be. And I think for women in this country, you need to start fucking doing the same. You need to start dressing normally. You need to start exercising a little bit more. Because, man, I tell you what, I was in 2 places yesterday. I was in court, and I was, wasn't a restaurant. It was like a cafe, but not like a Tim Hortons. And I just looked around, and, like, it was just amazing to me how many, every woman in both of those places were white, with the exception of one when I was in court. All white. All fucking overweight. Every single fucking one of those women were overweight. And I don't mean just a little bit pudgy, a little bit dumpy. I mean significantly, like 100 pounds overweight. And they look disgusting. And so you can say, well, no, there should be a man to fuck them. And it's like, okay, well, it ain't going to be me. It ain't going to be me that's going to fuck them or date them. All right? That's just how it is. That's the choice I have, and I'm not going to fucking take it. if it's to be a fucking monk or to fuck that fat fuck, I'm going to be the monk. And I think most men are going to be the monk. As it is with these articles saying like, oh man, there's all these women and they can't get laid. It's like, well, that's the choice. That's the choice. Slim down. Slim down. Meet some minimum of a beauty standard. And then you'll get laid. Then you'll be treated as normal. But if you don't, then buy a cat and get used to the loneliness. Those are your choices. So I'll end it here. Take my words of wisdom from 7 in the morning and abide by them. Thanks for listening.